screen and go back to Minecraft and minimize this. Okay, so when you get in the game, I'm gonna give you whatever materials you want. And basically, let's keep it simple. I'll give you wood, I'll give you whatever kind of stone you like.
Obsidian.
And I'll give you, and I'll give you, that's probably about all you need.
Glass?
Okay, and glass, there we go. I'll give you glass. Now, and I'll give you a turtle that can mine and build. Okay, there's a building turtle and there's a mining turtle that builds. I'll just give you the mining turtle. Okay, and then you can customize your turtle. When you go up to your turtle, to identify yours, you can click on it, and then one of the things here is to customize. So you can pick how you want your turtle to look, and you can pick your own turtle color, so you can tell the difference between your turtle and everybody else's. So that's what that does right there, okay? This right here, inventory, that's the turtle and your inventory. So there are 16 slots of the turtle's inventory. Each of them holds 64 things, and you can put whatever you want to in there. And in the program language, you can identify what slot you want it to use. Like, for instance, I use slot 1 through 4 as building stone. I used 5 through 8 for slab. I used 9 through 12 for glass, and I use these as different items that I can also, you can have them all be different things. But you can also have the program say, like mine does, when I start with number 1, and when 1 is empty, start using 2, and when 2 is empty, start using 3. Now you couldn't do that ad infinitum, because then all of a sudden I'd be building with ladders. So obviously there's some limit to that, and you could build that into the program as well. Okay, so this is your remote. The remote lets you move and do things with the turtle by hand, like you can say go forward, move up in the air, move down in the air. Okay, and place an item, whatever that is that you've got in your inventory, and then you can use it to dig. But these are not the things we're going to really use. Oh, by the way, this is run your program. This is step through your program, so you can have it say, I want to do one part of my program. One part of my program. Oh, I'm currently selected the program named Peyton that has nothing in it, so it's not doing it. This is undo the whole last program, and this is just run your program. And here is where you do the programs, okay? So in the programming library, I clicked new, and then said Peyton, so that we had a blank space here that will program Peyton's code. Now, this is the visual editor, and anytime you can switch to the code editor and actually use the functions that are over here and type them instead, okay? So you can use the code editor or the visual editor when you program. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of just the basic things, show you what all these are. If you hover over them, you can see what it does. If you click that one, it moves forward 1. Move backward 1. Turn left, turn right. Move up, that's in the air. Move down from the air. If you hit a barrier, it just stops moving. So you could say move down 20, and if it hit the ground in 5, it would just go and keep trying to go down, okay? This one is place. Now, let's say I wanted to make this build a wall, okay? So I could say place, and I drop that in the program editor anywhere I want to, but you might want to start close to the top. And when you drop the place, it's going to say you place it where you're at, you place it above where you're at, or you place it below where you're at.
Probably going to do down, right?
Which is why, initially, I always say go up 1, so then you can always place it below yourself. Because you know if you go up 1 initially, you know there's now a blank space underneath you. Okay? So I can say place down. Now, what does it place? It always starts with selecting item slot number 1. So it's now selecting item slot number 1 and putting whatever's in item slot number 1 below me. Okay? So then I could say move forward. And by the way, you can go beside each other. So I could say, I could do it like this is doing the same thing. Okay? So it goes along the code and then down the code. Okay? So I could say move forward, and then I could say put an item block below me, and then I could say move forward, and I could say put an item block below me, and this would get really old if I built my whole house this way. Okay?
Can you tell us to do
Because, yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so those are the basic commands of doing things. Now you can see other things. You can have it attack, you can have it set redstone, you can have it say things. There's other commands other than these basic ones that I just said, but those are the ones that you're going to use as you move around, okay? Now then there's, in the green down here, we have programming commands, okay? So you can have it repeat this string of things. You can have it do things. You can do, okay, so let me give you a basic if-then statement, okay? So, actually I'll do a do first. So, I'm going to set a variable instead of doing this whole thing, and I'm going to say x. It drops the variable x, by the way. You can always go back and say, I want the variable to be p for Peyton. Doesn't matter, okay? You can have it be words, okay, if you want to, okay? So you can have the word Peyton, and so I'm going to have the word Peyton equals, and then I can have it be a number. For instance, let's say I'm going to have it do this 10 times, okay? So instead of doing this, I say place an item and move forward one. I'm going to delete these.
You say, like, wouldn't it read those first?
Okay, so it's going to go up one, and it's going to say Peyton equals 10, and then, oh, I didn't do what I wanted, and then I'm going to say, wow, wow, the variable Peyton.
I'm confused. What's Peyton?
Is a variable. While Peyton is greater than 0.
I don't get.
Okay, Peyton's a variable.
Okay, so X.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you were paying attention, you can make it any variable you want to. It always drops X. So while Peyton is greater than 0, do. So it's doing this. And then I'm going to say.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Then I'm going to say. I wouldn't use whole words, but I'm just showing that you can. Peyton equals Peyton minus 1. Oh, I just saw that. Okay? And then I'm going to do an end.
Why did you do Peyton equals Peyton minus 1?
Because if I'm going to do this while Peyton is greater than 0, and I started out with Peyton equal to 10,
Yeah.
I have to do something to increment the value of Peyton. If I just said while Peyton is greater than 0, go down
it would
and
go
forward,
infinite.
it would have infinitely do it because nothing is changing the value of Peyton. You understand
So
what I'm
it's
saying?
starting at 10, and it's going to tick down from 10.
It's going to tick down from 10, so how many times is it actually going to do? It's actually going to do 11 times because they said, well, it's greater than 0 instead of greater than 1. But anyway, so now let's watch this code in action. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to hit run. So it goes up, and
Wait, so
watch it, there we go. And
it started off weird.
yeah, it did start off weird because, I don't know why I did that.
Run it again.
Okay. I also don't know what's in my item slot, so I'm going to undo everything that I just did. I'm going to check my inventory, and I think I've got sandstone in there. I don't know why. You know what? Let's put another command in here, just to make sure. One of the commands is to tell it which block you want it to use. So let's see. I'm going to say, where is it? Compare, detect, account. So select slot, and we're going to say 1, just so I know that it's selected the first
Oh, that's
slot
nice that it pulls that up right there for
as
you.
it starts the program. So now I know it's going to get the one that I wanted. Oh, where'd it go?
So it'll go select slot 1 up.
1. And did I start it? Cannot place block here. What did I do? Let's see what I did wrong. Oh.
There's a block
is there
already there.
a block there? Is that what our
I think it's
problem
just like a physical thing that's already there.
Alright,
Now do
I
it.
just made him get rid of it. Okay, so let's try it again. So it's going to go up. Okay, so that block must have already been there from something. I don't even remember what that was there. So my while loop is just going through there saying while Peyton is less than 10. So if we look, it was 10, then it was 9, then it was 8, then it was 7, then it was 6, then it's 5, then it's 4, then it's 3, then it's 2, then it's 1. Our program stopped right when it was supposed to because it says while it's greater than 0. So as soon as it did, it ended.
It starts off.
Okay, so that's what a do while loop it does. Okay, we could just as easily I'm going to make this down here. I'm going to move the increment down. I'm just going to show you what some of the different commands. Do you understand what the do while loop does?
Yeah.
You set a variable, and then you say while that variable is something. You could say while the variable is greater than 10 and start it out at 0 and add 1 every time.
I'd
It
rather
doesn't
do
matter,
that. That's
right?
easier.
You can increment down, you can increment up, doesn't matter. Okay? So what an if does is it lets you check something. So I'm going to say if, and we're going to use this variable again.
So you could do Peyton equals.
Peyton
Could you do Peyton equals?
You can do equals. So if Peyton equals, I'm going to say 5. We're going to leave it. We're going to skip a spot so we can make a doorway. Okay. So if Peyton equals 5, instead of placing a block and moving forward, we're just going to move forward. We're going to skip a block. Okay. And then I'm going to say else, there's else. So it's saying if Peyton is 5, just move forward, else do what you were going to do anyway, which is place a block and then moves forward, and then you have to end that if statement, so I'm going to have an end right there. So now it's going to say, while it's greater than 0, do, but along the way, when it gets to the Peyton equal number 5, it's not going to place a block. So let's go and see what that does. So first, I got to undo my program. Undo last program, yes. So we're going to look back down there, and we're going to run the program again. And so, expected Boolean error or then. Did I mess up? Not. If Peyton
Well, there's a red
equals 5.
space.
Oh, I was supposed to say then. If Peyton equals 5, then do this. It doesn't have to be below it. Else do this. I forgot to put that then. So it's an if-then statement. So if-thens are if-then or if-then else. So you're saying if some check happens, then do something. You could just do one thing. There doesn't have to be an else. But in this case, I'm saying if I'm on spot number 5, then do this. Otherwise, do this. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and run that one. And if I'm totally not making sense as I explain different programming statements, let me know. So when it gets to number 5, it's just going to go, I don't want to put something down there.
That was more than
And
5.
That was definitely past 5.
that definitely was past 5. What just happened there? Okay, let's see what I did wrong in the code. Back
See,
up.
is this what you're talking about? Like, you just have to go with experience?
If Peyton
If
equals
Peyton-
5, then go forward. Else, lay the brick and go forward.
Wait, no, wouldn't it be? Hold on.
You know what? It's because, I'm sorry, you know what?
Caps lock.
Caps
No.
lock.
Oh, does that actually matter?
Yep,
Yeah.
it definitely does matter in programming.
Oh, I was thinking of
So Peyton with little Aiton never equaled.
Peyton with a little 8.
With little Aiton ever equaled it. So let's see if that makes all the difference. There we go.
1,
5,
3,
4, or sorry.
4, 5, boop.
There we go.
Wait,
So now it skipped it. It went
am I just
10,
counting wrong?
9, 8, 7. So 10,
10,
9, 8, 7, 6. That was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So okay, so that's an if statement. Okay, so if statements have to end with a then. It's an if-then statement, and along with an if-then, you can have an else. So I could have just said, just so you know, I could have just ended the if-then right there.
It would stop at 5 with the
Okay,
empty block.
it would say if it equals 5, then move forward one extra one. Then it's still going to place one and go forward again. The net sum of the difference there is that it's going to move one more forward because it placed another one and moved forward without incrementing the thing. See the difference between those
Yeah.
two?
So we'll have a
So the
2
program
gap?
still, this program is still going to
No,
work.
so there's just going to be another extra one at the end.
There's going to be an extra one at the end because by taking out the else, it went ahead and continued on
See,
with the
there's an
program.
extra one after that if you turn.
Is there?
See, so this is now longer
Now it's
than it was
longer than
before,
it was.
if you can't tell. And the reason it's longer is because I didn't do the else. So it says while Peyton's greater than 0, do. If Peyton happens to equal 5, then make an extra move. But it still
But it's
kept,
not counting down from the 10.
Yeah, it still kept going and putting a brick down every time.
Yeah.
It just skipped one when it was a 5. It skipped and
Oh,
laid
okay,
one.
so it put a brick.
It wasn't
that
it wasn't
was
an either
nothing.
or. Wasn't an either, see, because it was not an if then else. It's just an if then. So the difference there is it's not a either or, it's an either and
Yeah.
statement. You understand the difference?
So it still was counting down the whole time.
But
instead
well,
of,
the difference
but
is
instead
that
of placing
every
something,
time it placed one.
it counted.
Every time it placed one and counted, but without that else, it didn't actually skip counting one.
It counted it. It just didn't place it.
No. When we had the else, it didn't place.
Ah.
See the difference right now? It's doing it every time, but when I had it here, no, not else.
What's BRK?
Break.
Okay, so there's other commands too. So we already went if. Repeat lets you do that many times. So if you wanted to do just this, you could do repeat. I don't know if I can put it there. Repeat.
Now, like when you
And
build.
then how many times? So you can repeat 10 times some action. Okay? So if you want to have it keep doing this thing, or you can have it let's make it even better. I'll show you a better way to use the repeat. Okay, so we're placing this this to 10, and we're going to go and do this and put a thing around it. Okay, so this just made a wall with a door, right? One layer of wall with a door. How can I make the layer be too high?
Repeat.
Okay, I could basically I can do
Uh,
that whole thing, turn around, and repeat the whole action backwards, right? The only thing that's going to be screwed up with that statement is the door's not going to be
Well, not now.
right.
Not without the else.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's not going to be right in the middle.
5 was right in the middle without the else.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that out. We'll see. Okay, so if I wanted to do this whole thing again, okay, I could say, I don't know if it's going to let me throw it up here.
It'll probably have to
Repeat.
be below it.
2 times. Do. Okay, so now it's going to do
What's
all
the red
this.
down there?
At the end down here, what do I have to do before I end the repeat?
Go up
I have to go up.
and turn around.
Well,
then
no, isn't it?
turn around.
Oh no, it doesn't go up because you're placing everything down.
And then I have to put the end in for that do, so I have to put an end down here. Okay, we'll see if this works the way we think it's going to work. I'm going to go back here so I can see it. And unfortunately, you can't move to find your guy and watch him while the program's up. And 0 opens the program. So we'll see what happens here. So now it's going to go and it's going to run that whole program. And it did our skip. And at the end, it goes up, turns around. It didn't do the whole thing. It, for some reason, only saw that section of code as a separate section of code. So I think that's because of where I put it.
Yeah.
What? Confused.
Yeah, if we go to the code editor, we'll see. So
And
so turtle select, turtle paint.
it's just at the end. Turn up, turn
See,
left, turn left.
It put this for in here. I don't know why, because it's in the code editor it's easier to see how things have
Yeah.
done and whether they worked right. Which is why, but the problem is you can type in the code editor, but it won't let you save when you go back to the visual editor. It doesn't go back the other way. So once you start editing code, you're stuck in code. But I still don't see. So we go that local patent means there's a local variable named patent. Ooh, I wonder if it'll let us type global patent. I did not try that.
What does the global do?
That doesn't. A global variable is one that gets passed between programs, so that if you define patent as, let's say in mine, x is the width of the house. So if I could define x in the first program and then everybody else knew what x was, I could change the size of my house one place and then everything. It would build a different size house no matter what. So I need to find out if there's a way to get it to pass a global variable. So let's see. I don't quite understand. It automatically did this increment, but it should have incremented. It should have done all this before it incremented this, and it didn't. It did that. Oh, you know why? Hurdy-dur. You want to know why I did it?
What?
I see why I did it. Because, see, if you switch back to visual, it'll erase changes yet. Because I said repeat this, but where did the repeat go? It went up here. Why does the repeat go up here, Peyton?
Because you're
It
not
needs to
actually
go-
touching the program, so it doesn't
Yeah.
know what exactly.
Because it needs to go before the Peyton equals 10.
Before Peyton equals 10, because it did it the way I said. It did
Yeah.
exactly what I said. Peyton was already 0. So it went up 2, Peyton 0, so it doesn't do any of that while do in the middle, right? I have to redefine Peyton is 10 before it start the wall again. Because it did Peyton equals...
So now it'll do it.
Yeah, so now maybe it'll work. Let's see. We gotta go backwards with this whole thing. Try it again. So, do you understand what we're saying,
Yeah.
Brighton? That the the repeat was after we defined Peyton is equal to 10. So nothing ever redefined it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
saying
we
like
need to
yeah, I'm
move
pretty sure it's gonna
backward.
be off.
We need to move backward because it
And
went
then-
up at the end and it moved forward.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it since we already know what it did wrong. I'm gonna look at my code. So I made it move forward someplace. Oh, because I laid the brick and then moved forward. Right? So because I laid the brick and moved forward, when I get here to get back to where I was, I have to turn around and then move forward one. Right? So now our code's going to be go back here so we can watch it. And obviously, if we made Peyton equal to 4, we'd be able to see all these things happening much quicker than making it equal to 10,
Yeah.
which is why it's kind of slow to.
Turn, boop, boop, boop. Would you have? You could just cut out that text. You have extra text in there, right? Like you don't need it to go forward. It could just go up. It doesn't need to go forward, up, turn around. It could just go up and turn
Okay,
around.
so you're saying right here.
So you have it
Well,
going.
the forward is after I place a block, so every time it places a block, it's got an empty one in front of it. If we did this, if we said go forward and this, then place the block, then it would always be over the last block anyway. But at some point, you're going to have to realign. If you put that there, then you're going to have to move back one. You're going to have to get it realigned anyway. Okay, so we now have a program that builds a too-high wall. Okay? So I'm going to start a new program. This is what I want to show you next. You don't want to put everything in one program. We just made
Have
a
it
program
bits.
that builds a wall. So if I'm going to make a new one, I'm going to call it
Well,
stable. Okay, well, Peyton really is wall. We should rename Peyton to wall, right? Because really that was a wall we just did. Okay, but I want to build four of that. Okay, so if I was to throw the program wall
you're
down,
gonna put a door on every side.
if I was to throw that down, when I pick a program and I drop it, it says what program. So I'm going to pick
Wall.
wall. Now, if I was to run just wall, I'd end up back where I was, over top of the thing,
You need to go up.
and what do I need to do next? Well, let's look. Where does it need to go next? I hope I have monsters off right now. That would be bad.
Your creative mode.
Okay, so look where I am right now. I have to do what after I'm
Turn
building
around.
the wall? So I have to turn around and
Go down.
I need to go right one. Right? I need to
Turn
turn
right.
right one.
Forward.
And I need to go forward, I need to go down two
Down.
before I even start building.
But then do you have to cut the numbers down because it's gonna be? I guess if you don't care.
I don't know. Let's see. Okay.
If you want it to be symmetrical, you will, because then it definitely will not be.
So I have to go right,
It's too much.
and I have to go forward,
And down
and I have to
two.
go down two before I build a wall. Now I would have to do that after every wall. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's assume
Not the fourth.
if I built the wall, actually I need to do this after I build the wall. To be ready to build the next wall, I'm going to undo the whole last program.
Okay, now.
Okay, so we're starting empty.
So do the
Okay?
whole thing.
So when you're done with that wall, you go right, forward, down, down, and then you want to do it again. right?
So
So,
repeat
so I could
text.
do repeat.
Would it be after?
Um,
Or no, you're
Four-
right.
three
It's before.
I
times.
repeat 4 times. I have 4 walls I have to build, right?
Oh, before.
And then I'm gonna do that, and when I'm done,
Why did you have to put the do?
because that's when you.
Is that like
when I'm
enter?
repeating something? Okay, do it 4 times. That's
Okay.
the command to kind of execute. Okay, so now you know what? I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna lower. I'm gonna lower my wall count down to 6 just to make it a little faster for us.
So that'll be.
Okay.
So you're still
and
gonna
then I
have
gotta
that
go back
gap.
to the program I want to run before
Wait,
I run.
make it 7.
So now-
because that's gonna look ugly because you have that hole now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause
Also, it's gonna have a hole on
hole's
each of
at
the
5.
walls.
And it's good. Yeah, that's true. I just kind of messed that up, but oh well. Let's see how it goes with the rest of it. Oh, we didn't go down far enough.
I like how it's bugging out.
What? I'm confused though. We said go down
Okay.
twice.
Hold on. Let's stop. Rewind the whole thing.
I think you have to write 2 separate texts. One for the wall with the door, and then one for just wall.
Well, let's make this equal to.
You have to make it an odd.
3 then. It's half of the value, right?
You needed to have an odd number
that'd be
because
the
it's gonna have
center.
a gap.
And then this didn't that maybe I gotta go down one more. I guess I didn't count how many down because it goes the first thing it does is go back up. So I need to be all the way down to the ground.
What do you mean it goes back up?
That's the first thing.
At the end of the other program, we said to go up.
is go up. See, the first thing it does is go up. So if I don't have it come all the way down to the ground. So basically our door needs to be half of.
Dude, he is bugging out.
Our program needs to be half of, or our door needs to be half of the value of the wall length, and it will work.
Yeah.
It'll be centered every time. Uh-oh, that didn't work. Crap. Because it doesn't end up, it ends up where it started. So we're gonna have a little star building here is what we're gonna have.
Yeah.
Because it's not ending up where it finished, it's ending up where it started. What is it gonna do now? This is gonna be interesting. So we got a little star building here. So
You almost made a swastika by accident.
so
Bad.
Wait, there's still one
Bad,
more.
Mr. Poole.
There's still one more to go.
no, it's done, right?
Who do you?
It's done. That's it. So that didn't work out so well. Okay, so that's part of the trial and error, right?
Yeah.
So did 1, 2, 3.
Well, okay, then you could just say go, turn.
Right. So all we have
Left,
to do is at the end of the wall, we have to make it go to the end of the wall. So how many forward is that?
How long is your
I wouldn't
wall?
use
6?
this. Here's what I would not do. I would not use a bunch of forwards, right? Because we know that we put the value in. Oh, what did I just do?
You have to grab the actual like scroll thing if that's what you're doing.
Why is it not letting me do it? There we go. So we know that it's the value of 6. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have another one up here.
Another.
I'm kind of messing it up, but I want to hold 6, right? Because, so I'm going to do this. X equals. So that I only have to set the variable once. This one's not going to change, okay?
X equals.
So
P.
X is now the variable.
No. Payton's still a variable. X is just a holder for whatever.
But you can use X as the variable now.
We can use it. So what I'm going to do is say, down here, I'm going to say repeat. Repeat.
X.
X.
Why not just write Peyton?
'Cause it's easier to put X.
Okay.
And I'm going to go forward that many times.
Why not just write X from the beginning?
You understand what I'm doing here? So I don't have to.
Repeat X. Do.
Yeah.
Up.
So the idea here is that I only have to set my variable once. How big my walls would. I just have to set it there, right? So now when I run my other program, let's just do this one. Let's just do this one.
Something's wrong with this computer.
What do you mean?
1, 2, 3.
The question is it going to end up at the end of the wall when we're done?
Like, watch this right. What is that? What is that?
Okay, so it ended up at the end of the wall.
Yeah.
Now, we put the end program to go right, so that means it's going to come this way. Let's see what happens.
No, right's still right. If you told it to go right.
Right still could be right. You're correct. So I'm going to pick the stable program. I'm only calling it stable just because I didn't want to call it the same thing. Okay, we'll see what happens while I look and see what happens.
That's actually really funny when Peyton turned the.
Huh?
That was really funny when Peyton turned the computer on.
What do you mean something's funny?
When I go do
Log out and
something-
then log back in.
No, it does all the time. Like, I log into something. Oh, it's just bugging out.
Let me redo the video.
So it got there, but are you asking it to?
Well,
Actually, now we're gonna see what it. Yeah, it should get to the wall at the end. You go right. That'll build a wall. You just have gaps now.
why do I have
change
gaps?
Because it's the same program, right?
Yeah, there's an entry in every side of it. Yeah, right now.
So we don't want that. So how do you?
But you could, because I could make a different program. One that does a wall with the door and one does the wall, and I could say run
You can just copy and paste.
wall
them and
no,
just take
no
out the-
door.
Can you copy and paste them?
I don't know. Let me see if I can get your thing fixed here though, Peyton. I just want to point out